In all, some 20 million people could die in the next 6 months because they don't have enough to eat. Last month, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said more than $4 billion is needed to respond to the emergency. Shabia Mantou is a spokeswoman for the UNHCR, in Yemen. She joins us now from Sana'a. So tell us about the sort of hardship that people are facing there.
Well, the situation in Yemen is nothing less than catastrophic, and we are experiencing what is the world's largest humanitarian crisis at present. So we're seeing a situation in which millions are going hungry, millions are having to flee their home, trying to find safety elsewhere across the country, and people are just languishing in very abysmal conditions without anything to eat, searching for shelter, searching for water, and exposing themselves to great harm. So civilians in Yemen are really bearing a huge brunt of this conflict and really struggling to survive.
As bad as the situation is, often it's worse for women and children. Tell us the sort of hardship they face in particular.
Well, definitely, people are, people who have already had pre-existing vulnerabilities or at heightened risk before the conflict. We see that they are, particularly at risk now, and that they face even more harm. So if we look at, the amount of displaced people that we have in the country, half of them are women and children, and they're also facing widespread hunger, malnutrition, and in the quest to find food and water and search for safety, they're exposing themselves to great risk, and they're resorting to things to try and enable their survival. Now, things which are harmful, but things like begging, sending the children away from school to go off to work, so child labour, also early marriage. And we're finding that there are quite serious concerns that we have, and as the situation will get worse, we'll see more and more people either directly exposed to harm as a result of the conflict or fall into these negative cycles to try and cope.
Is the world stepping up to its responsibility? Are you hopeful that enough funds will be raised, for example, in that Geneva meeting on Tuesday?
Well, the response to the crisis in Yemen, it really has been disproportionate in comparison to the scale of the crisis. Now, it's the world's largest crisis in terms of humanitarian needs, but it's also one that's been, we can say, among the world's most forgotten. So it has been overshadowed. If we look at present, the response for the humanitarian situation in Yemen, it's already prioritised. Now, obviously, we can't reach everyone in need, but we've prioritised, for those people that are most at risk. But that response has been less than a quarter funded to date. So we are really hopeful that next Tuesday there will be a meeting in Geneva, which will be hosted by the United Nations and the governments of Sweden and Switzerland. And that will really be an opportunity for the world to step up and really show their solidarity and support for Yemen and really support the humanitarian response.
All right, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, it's time for the